Good morning, welcome to day 116 of my Munro challenge. Today is massive. I'm combining two routes, 115 and 116. It's extremely remote. I'm parked at the end of Loch Arcaig, which took me an age to get here. It's probably going to be at least a 12-hour day, maybe 14 hours. Very rough going, very rugged, and a lot of long distance. 4 Munros, Sgurr Ciche, Garbh Chioch Mhor, Sgurr Chioch and Sgurr Mhor. Extremely remote, so it's going to be a long day. Let's get on with it. So the day starts on these Land Rover tracks, heading up the glen. Quickly show you around. It's going to be a hot day today, it's forecast. So I'm actually carrying nearly 4 litres of fluid. Rucksack weighs a ton. Just looking up at that Belach up there, that's actually we'll be descending off of there later today, a lot later today. We're still heading up this glen, a long way to go. So this is where we'll leave the track. I didn't realise we're only 17 miles from Inverry. I think we might get views over Knoydart when we get to the top, you never know. So I'm taking the track which runs along the top side of this plantation. Now there is an option to take a forest track which runs through the middle of the plantation. They both come out the other end, but when I've been checking the map last night, I think this one is slightly shorter, so I'm taking this one. It's quite a well-trodden path actually, following this wood. I'm sure it was the better option of the two. First Munro at the minute is up in cloud. Now, the forecast today is heat wave, so I'm assuming the clouds will burn off, but we'll see. So this is where the track merges with the track that runs through the forest over there. We're going to head up to that ridge you can see ahead. When we get to the ridge, we're going to turn right and start our ascent of the first Munro. So we're climbing up to the crest, if you like, of the ridge, and this footpath has turned into like a quad track. Wow, looking back down the glen, a long way we've come. So we're heading up here now. That looks rugged. Wow, look at that. So Knoydart's going to be round the corner, isn't it? At some point we're going to hang a right and go up there. So we're underneath Sgurr Ciche, and we're about to turn right up that gully, and then we'll hang a left to make our way to the top. That's the plan anyway, so I think there might be a bit of scrambling ahead. So this is a gully that we're going to go up. Bit of mouth scrambling, I think. What do you think, Stan? Hey? Yeah, so it's ever so mild, the scramble. Big rocks, big boulders, nothing too difficult at all really. We're at the top of the gully at the Belach, and the summit is up there. So we're going to go up there and retrace our steps back to this Belach, and then we'll be heading that way. So far it's not a bad path, but I suspect there's going to be a bit of a scramble involved as we get higher up. Looking up there, yes, as I suspected. Really steepens up into like a boulder field scramble. Here we are, Sgurr Ciche. So that's the remains of a trig point there, and this is a cairn at the top, Sgurr Chioch. So it was steep. I'm just dropping back now to the Bealach. There is a faint path that you can follow which takes away all the difficulty. Stands on it now if you look. There you go, you can see the boulders we've got to get down, and there's a path dropping right down to the Bealach, and then there's a dry stone wall the other side that we're going to follow, and we go up the other side. There we go, the next Munro, Garbh Chioch Mhor, just coming into view. Hopefully we'll get a view from up there. Looking back at the first Munro, see how rugged it is. Well, this is equally rugged. Bit of a scramble up there. How are you doing, Stan? Rolling. So we've pretty much hugged this wall all the way up this second climb. I think the top's just there, just beyond. So here we are, Garbh Chioch Mhor. Wow. So that's Sgurr Chioch. In the distance is Sgurr Chioch, the third Munro, and way over there is Chioch Mhor. So you can see the glen we walked up earlier. We skirted round that wood, got to content with this top, drop down to Bealach, and then we'll go up to the next Munro. So we're still following this wall. That's the next Munro over there. How bizarrely, we're actually higher here than the next Munro. I think we're about 10 metres higher, although it doesn't feel it. It feels like we're below it, but it must be something to do with the this Bealach here where it's positioned, and that's why that's the Munro over there. So that's a good illustration of how rugged it is, really. That's a Bealach down there before we make our way up to the next Munro. See how rocky it is, and really difficult underfoot. There you go, I'm just looking back along the ridge that we're walking on. You see how what it's like. We're still following this wall, but I think we're about to stop. Now that's the next Munro over there, and we've still got a little bit of a drop to the bottom of the Bealach. That looks steep. We're starting the ascent now. It's taken quite a while to get to this Bealach. I'll just show you the cliff that we're ridge, sorry, that we've been on. You see, it's really undulating, and it goes on for ages. I'm coming, Stan. That was definitely as steep as it looked. Wow, look at this. What a view. What a view. So here we are, Sgurr Chioch. Wow. Oh wow. And Sgurr Mhor over there. There's two tops to go over before we get to it, so a lot of hard work to do. And you can see where we've been, the two Munros. So the plan is to drop down and pick up the ridgeline over there. So we've got we've got three columns of Bealachs, if you like, to climb in and out of before we hit the main drag up Sgurr Mhor. So the hills you can see over there are Knoidat. Now, Knoidat was rugged, and it's just an extension of Knoidat where we're at, really. Wow. So we're at a top called Anig. Wow. That's the last Munro over there. So we've got to drop down to that Bealach, and then we've got to climb up to the next top, which isn't a Munro, and drop again before we make the final ascent. So we're dropping into this next col, and I have to say it makes a pleasant change just having a bit of grass to walk on rather than the the rock that I've been on most of the day. It's certainly more forgiving these couple of hills. This is where we've been, and it's stunning, absolutely spectacular. Hi Stan. So there you go, that's the next top, 890 metres, and there's the Munro. Sgurr Mhor. Wow. So the plan is we'll go up, we'll go across the ridge, we'll drop down to that Beelac, and then I'm going to pathlessly descend and make a river crossing. Just dropping down to this last Beelac before we make the final ascent. So here we are, the last Beelac, making the final ascent. It looks steep. I have to say, it's a fabulous path, weaving its way up, keeping you out of trouble. Here we are, Sgurr Mhor. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It's a bit special, isn't it? So remote. So I'm just dropping across this ridge. I'm going to go down to that Beelac, then pathlessly cut down the valley side, the glen side, cross that river, climb up the other side to that footpath, climb over the to the Beelac over there, and then drop back down to the Land Rover track. So it's a very steep, grassy, pathless bank, but it's actually not that difficult to there's a fair bit of grip. I've just picked a point on the riverbed that I'm aiming at, and that's me. Then we've got a bit of a climb by the looks of it on the other side. Looking back up, come straight down, straight line, bang. Got to cross this river yet, and then I'm going to make my way for the low point of the Beelac up there, and hopefully pick up the Stalker's Path. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Big stepping stones, it was easy. Apparently it's impassable in spate, this river. Alright, let's head up to that Beelac. So we found this Stalker's Path. I have to say it's in and out of being a path, it's vague in places. Now it should take us back to the Land Rover track in the next glen. There we go, almost at the Land Rover track. And look at that view. I didn't get that this morning, did I? Fantastic. Hi, welcome to day 116 of my Munro challenge. Today I combined routes number 115 and 116. Wow, what a long day. Awesome day. Monday the 11th of July, and I parked right at the very end of Loch Accaig, and I have to say it takes an age to get there. So whatever time you plan on allowing to get there, add some, because it's a long single track road. Fabulous route. Pretty much from the car park you follow Land Rover tracks until they pretty much run out. You pick up a track which runs along the edge of a forest and eventually climbs reasonably steeply. Actually it turns into a 4x4 type quad type track up to a ridge where you're still like following the underside of the cliffs. Now I couldn't see anything because I was in cloud, unfortunately, but the mountain I was about to climb was epic, and I would imagine looked awesome from the approach. But eventually you get to a gully, that's really where the fun starts. I mean, it's a long way away, but that's where it starts. It's not overly challenging. It is a scramble, but huge boulders and stuff to get up, so not difficult at all. Then you get up to the Beelac, where you're on the ridge, and you've got the start of a very grueling ridge walk. So the first 3 Munros, Sgurr Ciche, which is the first one, you follow the path steeply, rugged. It's a scree type climb, quite steep. Retrace your steps back to the Beelac, and then you're on the ridge where you follow a dry stone wall for ages and ages, but it's very, very, very rocky and rugged and very difficult underfoot and very undulating. Hats off to them blokes who built that wall, by the way. You just got to give them respect. Yeah, so you kind of continue up to Garbh Chioch Mhor and Sgurr Chioch, and it's just repeating the same after again and again. You're following the wall, very rocky, very rugged. In fact, you don't realise how rugged and tiring it is at the time, because I think you're enjoying the day so much because you're looking over views of Knoydart, where you've been. I mean, the awesome looking mountains. And you're trying to pick out the various tops that you've previously done. Yeah, so when you get to the third, Sgurr Chioch, you're then like looking ahead at Chioch Mhor, which now all of a sudden seems quite close from where it was initially when you're on the first Munro. And you've still got quite a few quite steep ups and downs into various Beelacs. Although the going is more grassy, I have to say, it's more forgiving, let's say. But the ups and downs are quite steep and still tiring. And eventually you will get to the top of Chioch Mhor. Now I decided to ascend by continuing over the top along the ridge and then dropping quite steeply to a Beelac, where then it becomes pathless and you drop down a very, very, very steep grass bank. There's loads of streams cut into the side, although when you're on it you can't really tell. And I'd made a beeline pretty much straight down for a point in the riverbed at the bottom, so they didn't get in my way at all, these streams that are cut into the side. And the bank itself is very heavy grass, so it's quite easy to get a grip with your feet despite it being so steep. I crossed the river quite easily, but in spate apparently it's extremely difficult. But then you're faced with quite a long climb up to the top of the next grassy Beelac, which is pathless until you meet a very faint stalker's path. And it is faint and it is difficult to keep on that path, and because it keeps disappearing. But eventually you drop back down and you're on the Land Rover track, heading back to the car. Before I give you the mileage, I just need to say 7 Munros left after today. Ben Lomond next Sunday is looking so close now. So mileage today was huge. 21 miles, 6,654 feet. Huge day. And it's very rugged and very difficult climbing. 12.5 hours it took me. Now I got back to the car, the van, and I felt tired, really tired. And I hadn't really felt this fatigued on a walk in a long time. But what particularly noticeable was how my feet ached, because it's hard going, and I haven't had my feet ache at all, I'd say, like that in some considerable time. So it's a tough day out,